Hey everybody, Nathan Beauvais here with some financial context. Wanted to talk about the big three today. That is the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ. Let's start with the oldest. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was created in 1896, and it had 12 stocks in it, most notably General Electric. And these were industrial stocks. Other than railroad stocks, they were the only stocks you could really invest in at the time. Today, the Dow Jones has 30 stocks in it, and it represents other parts of the economy as well, other sectors, that is. Salesforce, for example, was added last year, as well as Honeywell and Amgen. The Dow Jones is also the most exclusive of the three indices. It only has 30 components, as opposed to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, which has many more. Speaking of the S&P 500, this is an index that represents the 500 largest companies in America, defined by market capitalization. That is the number of shares outstanding times the share price. Apple is the largest of these stocks in the index. Microsoft is up there as well. Amazon, Facebook, Google, these are the largest stocks in the country. And the S&P 500 was started in 1957, but it traces its roots back further than that. It was just called something else. The NASDAQ is the newest and most unique of the three indices because it's also a stock exchange. In 1971, it opened for business and was the very first electronic stock exchange. No trading floors or posts, just a bunch of market makers out in cyberspace repeatedly updating stockish quotes on a computer screen. Initially, the NASDAQ attracted only small startups that did not have enough assets or earnings to qualify for the big board or the New York Stock Exchange. As the 20th century came to an end, the NASDAQ found itself listing more and more names from the technology sector, which was not nearly as developed in the 1980s and 90s as it is today. And many of the names like Apple and Microsoft stayed loyal to the exchange, and today it serves as a proxy for the technology sector. The NASDAQ as an index didn't catch on until the 1990s when it experienced a meteoric rise during the dot-com bubble. Now, over time, the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 follow each other pretty closely. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, does not. This is because it's filled with so many technology names, and those stocks have done really well over the last 20, 30 years. So the NASDAQ looks very different when you plot it against the S&P and the Dow Jones. The other thing that really stands out to me that's interesting is that the Dow Jones is a very subjective index, meaning that a group of people have to decide what 30 names are going to be in it, whereas the S&P 500, again, is based on market cap, so it's a much more objective process in that index. The Dow Jones is a subjective process, meaning that there's some politics involved, and it can be controversial as to who gets in and who gets out. So I find that to be kind of interesting.